Throughout the United States, there are over 2,100 Waffle Houses in operation. They operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they don't close unless there's imminent danger. They can even operate in a hurricane. Every year, Waffle House serves millions of people from all walks of life, and these are their stories. This is the All-Stars Project.
Yes, sir. Tonight's episode of the All-Stars Project is spearheaded by friends and musician Uncle Dave and his son Connor Griffin of the Pine Box Dwellers, along with his wife Lynn to mediate the truth from tall tales. And it's all done here, live on location at the Waffle House. The first one we did, we just kind of went to the Waffle House in Darien, which is like where me and him went to high school.
If you'll go in here,
and
go ahead, I'll just wheel in right
you know, we're just kind of seeking people out to interview, just kind of interesting aspects of the American South. It's called the All-Stars Project.
Cool. The All-Stars Project?
Yes, sir.
We figure people from all walks of life come here, especially from the South, at all times of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes not entirely sober, but hey, it is what it is, you know?
Dave and I visited the Waffle House a little not sober before.
Oh, yeah. I think you have to, or you're not a real Southerner, you know?
That's right. Well, I guess we'll introduce who we got here. We got Dave Griffin and his son Connor Griffin, or do you prefer Ingram?
Either way, man.
Ingram.
I've been called much worse.
Absolutely.
He goes by Connor.
Yeah.
We named him that for all. This is not a video.
No.
This is audio.
This is all audio.
All
yes, sir.
Hello. This is Uncle Dave speaking. We named our son Ingram Connor Griffin. Now, there was a reason behind that, because when I was growing up in Waycross, I grew up on a street called Mount Pleasant Road, which was nicknamed Doghill by my uncle, and because there was many dogs there. And as me and my brother and all of our friends grew up and got married and had children, well, they all beat me to the punch as far as naming their children after music idols, you know, like Eric Clapton or Jesse Winchester,
Yeah.
or whatever, you know. And my brother, I think he beat us all as far as having the first child, and he named his son David Graham Griffin after me and Graham Parsons.
Okay.
And you know, Graham Parsons was from Waycross.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to really come out of Waycross, except for you Purnell Robert fans.
I'm not familiar with Purnell Roberts. Purnell Roberts.
He was Adam.
Pepper John.
He was Adam on Bonanza.
Oh, okay.
He was one of Lauren Green's sons on Bonanza.
Okay.
And he got fired from Bonanza because he wouldn't call Lauren Green Pa.
What?
Yeah, it was his TV daddy, you know, but he refused to call him Pa.
Oh, was it just like super duper sentimental or calling his own pa? I get you.
But anyhow, Graham Parsons was the most famous musician to come out of Waycross, probably.
Absolutely.
So my brother beat us all to the punch and named his son David Graham.
We got him later because he earned the nickname Bubba, which is so famous around the South, you know. Brother, Bubba, it just all...
Everybody's Bubba in the South.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised there's not a Bubba Griffin interchange out there.
He got called Bubba so long, it just stuck. I used to think that was his real name, and I think that's when he was like, all right, everybody just start calling me Graham again. This is getting old.
It's kind of like the whole Griffin family. Aunt Tid.
Lucille.
Yeah, no, Marcel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
don't show that to Aunt Tid.
Uncle Bub.
Bud.
Uncle Bud was Royce. Oh, anyway, a lot of nicknames.
Yeah.
Griffin family.
That's a Southern thing, anyhow. Nicknames is.
Two
But
names.
so when we found out that Connor was coming along, we were. I took her to lunch at Strickland Pharmacy. You remember Strickland Pharmacy hamburgers?
Absolutely.
That's the best place. Oh man.
Great. They could probably make one about as good right here.
I can make you Thanksgiving dinner back there if you ask hard enough.
So we was having lunch at Strickland's before he was born, and the subject of what are we going to call this
I
baby?
just found out it was going to be a boy.
Okay.
Yeah, that day I found out he was a boy.
Yeah.
So
So we said, well, what are we going to call this young man?
Cecil.
And Aunt Lynn said, I think we ought to name him David Edward Griffin Jr. And I said, hell no. I ain't putting him through that. Because that would be named after me. And I don't think anybody ought to have to go through that again.
I don't know how I feel being a junior.
Yeah, it's kind of like pressure, you know.
he's already got the pressure on him. Yeah, I mean, he's Uncle Dave's son, so everybody's like, you know, looking for you to do great things, which you are, all on your own.
You got a lot of shit to live up to, man. Come on.
I do. I got enormous boots to fill.
I think that's bullshit.
Well, you got a pretty successful band.
You got a good beard, though.
It's growing on me. Yeah.
So when I struck that idea down, I said, well, I always wanted to name him after Graham Parsons, which when Graham lived his first 12 years of his life in Waycross, his name was Ingram Cecil Connor the Third. And Connor. And so we had a choice, several choices there. We could go Ingram Cecil Griffin, Ingram Connor Griffin, Ingram Third Griffin, or we could go Cecil Connor Griffin, Cecil Third Griffin, or we could go
Hell, what about Bob?
Yeah, right.
I'm digging the Cecil, honestly.
Yeah.
I would have rolled
sounds
up.
pretty cool.
You gotta wait till 50 to break it out.
I'm looking at you right now trying to picture you as a Cecil.
Just picture me in a church suit, about 75 years old. Have some liver spots on my
Waking
bald
up to
head.
sit on the porch all day.
I'll have a favorite pew and everything. It'll be engraved Cecil Griffin.
One of them engraved nickel flasks. You know, in your back pocket at all times.
Oh, that'd be cool.
If we'd have named you Cecil Griffin, you'd have probably been racing cars or something by now, instead of drumming in a band.
Hell racing. And tell
So,
them
anyhow, we ended up calling him Ingram Connor Griffin and said we'll call him Connor out of those two.
I wasn't sold though the first.
No, she did not.
I mean, we're sitting there in Strickland's. He said, "Well, I think we should name him Ingram Connor Griffin." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God!" Every day, the first day of school, they're going to go Ingram, and he's going to go, "Oh crap!" You know, Ingram.
But something good came out of it, because one day when I was going to Waycross College, now South Georgia State College, I had a biology class there, and she was calling the roll, you know, and I was having a kind of a crappy first day back, and I thought, I'm going to have a little bit of fun, see how long I can keep this going. So she called Ingram, and I said, just call me Graham. And my buddy from high school sat directly left of me. He knew it was bullshit immediately. He was like, Graham. Since when, you know,
Graham.
the whole semester, just that one class, I was called Graham.
Or just
Really?
Yeah. That was a fun little semester.
Did you remember to respond,
Oh yeah.
Graham?
Now, was
Yeah,
all this
he was
because
fine.
Bubba was already taken by
Yes.
that uncle?
Yeah.
Yes, it left us with very little to go with. But we chose Ingram Connor and called him Connor, and he's lived up to it pretty good. He's a musician and a songwriter in his own right, and of course Graham was one of the premier musician songwriters. He's laid with the mantle of being the country rock pioneer, the guy that first merged country with rock and roll. So they say. I'm sure there's arguments on all sides of that, but I feel like he was as important as the ones that say he was.
Yeah.
You know? And he was truly a gifted person, gifted musician, and it's unfortunate that he died so young. But you know, some
A lot of the
folks,
great ones did.
yeah, well, it's like the 27 Club. Is that what?
No, he was 26. I
He
think.
was only 26,
Yeah.
but there is a 27
Yeah,
Club.
with all them
Yeah.
fellas.
I think it's always before you're 27, though. Like you fit within that whole range. I don't know if it's specifically.
Well, he was
27.
right there at it. He was
27
knocking at the door.
I'm sorry.
Because he died in
Yeah, so he
September
already
and his
surpassed
birthday
that
was
milestone.
November.
Yeah.
He
He
would have
just
been
can't be shooting
27.
heroin in their hotel room.
No.
But anyhow, that's the story of what the hell.
I was playing at Moss. I saw y'all's band, Pine Box Dwellers, play there a few times, and it was so damn
Yeah.
small in there. But they had people playing pool around y'all and shit. They still like that.
Yeah, but it's good, man. That's one of our favorite places to play on the island.
Yeah.
I mean, every time we play there, something magical happens. It seems like, you know, all the pretty girls come in, start dancing, and that's just like a show for us. But anyhow, tonight was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Where'd you have this play tonight?
Moss.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, just, I didn't have a microphone with me, but beat on the cajon. And,
Man, them things will fill up a room anyhow by
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
harmonies sounded amazing because you and your dad, they never practice, you know, together. But I guess it's because his father and son, their harmonies are dead on. So sweet.
I go with it until I find it.
But somebody told me a funny story. Old Rick Bennett, you remember? He a long time ago, I was like, man, like 15 probably. He said that they were like recording somewhere, and your dad was there, and he was like tuning a bass or something. And he just hummed and like tuned it to like what he was humming or something. Like he was just emitting that frequency. I don't know how true that story is, but tall tales follow there.
I don't remember the incident, but that don't mean it ain't true.
But hell yeah, I just thought of that one. That was really significant.
Sweet's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Tell us about this festival y'all have.
The Grand Parsons Festival, yeah, he just filled everybody in on Grand Parsons, but Big
Sure.
Griffin's the one that organizes it. They didn't do it last year because of COVID, obviously, and other things. You feel like you're going to do more of them? Or?
Well, you know, oh yeah. I mean, the pandemic is just a bump in the road, you know. We're going to get back to a normal society again. Depends on when. But we had to cancel Graham Parsons Guitar Pool last September because of the pandemic. And but we in November we decided to have a virtual guitar pool. We asked, we put it out there to all the musicians who typically perform in Waycross. Anybody that wants to, send us in a couple of videos, music videos of you performing Graham songs.
Just not us, right?
You're right. Well, we put it out there to the people who normally play the festival. We didn't open it up to anybody.
I'm glad.
I figured though, out of the 30 or so acts that we typically have at the live festival, I figured we'd get about 10% of that. It ended up, more than that. I figured we'd get about 10 acts, but it ended up being about 17 or 18 people that actually
they're just contributing time.
contributed their videos.
Yeah.
And so that was good. And the show lasted from 8 o'clock till after midnight. So we had 4 hours of a virtual festival online. And Caution Light Media, who is Justin Mercer in Waycross, who does Sean Clark
Yeah.
Me and Sean Clark have a podcast called Something in the Water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Where can we find that podcast? for everybody
it's
back
on
home?
it's on a lot of platforms. You can find it on
Spotify.
YouTube, Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah, we'll post
YouTube,
the link in the video.
You
Those
can
are
go
the
to
main two.
YouTube.
I think maybe Apple Music, iTunes.
Yeah.
If you go to YouTube to Something in the Water,
Yeah.
yeah, it's easy to find that one.
Yeah, we're just on YouTube so far. But
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
we're getting an XM deal
What's
tomorrow.
what's the name of this podcast?
The
again?
All Stars Project.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
It was a dream that he had. He
Oh,
just thought of
okay.
it, like.
And all the
like the
podcasts
All-Star
are held
Project.
right
Okay.
here.
I don't know how
Well,
they take it off the
at
menu.
A
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, well, I woke up in the middle of the night. I figured, hell, there's enough Waffle Houses across the South to where
Yeah.
I could just hang out and eventually talk to a bunch of folks and string them all together and make a show out of it. I texted him the idea. I completely forgot about it, so I read the text message the next day, and we just did the first one last Friday.
Okay.
But about the pool, if you're in the entertainment industry or performing arts industry, you've really got to be creative this year. You know, you have to adapt. You know, what's some ways y'all seen other musicians adapt?
To the pandemic.
Right.
I've seen this guy online on YouTube. There's a musician named Adam Neely. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him or not. He does a lot of theory-based videos. He's real big on music theory, music history, jazz, all that. But he's up in New York, and it's like a whole other world up there if you compare it at least to South Georgia. You know, because it seems like people in South Georgia, some of them will take some precautions here and there, but for the most part, it's kind of like precaution to the wind. These people need their businesses back open, and a lot of these people want to hear live music. So I guess it's just
I know I do.
yeah. But up in New York, it was like a completely different thing. They had plexiglass. They were all at least 6 feet apart. Looked more like 10 feet apart. Everybody wearing masks. I think a couple people were singing through their masks. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, when I go down to Florida, it's like a whole other damn country. It's like, but I live out in Atkinson, so I don't ever see anybody. It's like, but you know.
I saw a music video for something that was made fairly recently, and it had a lot of brass, like trumpets and shit in the video, and they were blowing through their masks, like little holes and shit through their masks. I'm like, that ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a cup of coffee.
That's one of those other things I've seen that's just perplexing to me. Like, are y'all? Yeah, y'all are doing that right now. That's a little bit over the top, I would say. But
Well, I think it's, part virtue signaling and part, I don't know, making fun of it almost too.
yeah.
I love all the live feeds that people are doing. A lot of the musicians are doing the live feeds. Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know why I didn't even think about that, but even before the pandemic happened, people say certain genres of music don't die, they just go online. And that really stuck with me. But that's exactly what's happened with the pandemic, even with live music. Everybody's just going online and doing their own thing.
Not in Brunswick.
Yeah.
Not down here.
I tell you what, so the pandemic happened 1 week after my birthday. My birthday's March 15th, then by March 19th, we really started seeing stuff close down like crazy. And that Friday and Saturday, I wanted to go see some music, but of course, everybody's just like, no way, we're finally taking this thing seriously. And Jamie Renee Walker, I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah.
She was the first person I really saw with a live stream set up, and she had like a virtual tip jar going. I'm like, that's how it's going to have to be for a while.
And that's how it did happen. There was I got in on the act. The last gig I played was where I played tonight, was at Mott's last year. My last gig before the pandemic struck was March 20th at Mott's. And I played to probably about 8 or 10 people that night. And you could feel that something was coming. You know, you could feel that a change was fixing to happen.
I remember I first laid eyes on the bread and toilet paper aisle. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It's not, things are not going to be normal for a while.
Yeah, and you remember how that was, and you remember how nobody really knew anything about what was coming. You know,
No information whatsoever.
Yeah,
Nothing good.
there was nothing factual about anything. The scientists were saying, we're not sure, you know. We don't know. This is all a new strain, you know.
Was it airborne or,
They
that
didn't
nobody
know
knew
so many
anything.
things. I mean, they were putting people on ventilators left and right saying that's the way to go, and then come to find out months later that the ventilator is death sentence. You know, but thank God, you know, we're almost a year away from the beginning of this thing, and there's a lot more known about it now, and clubs, restaurants, gigs have reopened for musicians. We had the government stimulus, you know, was very handy and appreciated too for musicians and gig workers. But we're not totally out of the woods as far as Grand Parsons Guitar Pool goes. I'm looking at it taking place in probably October of this year. So
What about Swamp Down Get
Swamp
Down?
Town Get Down, typically held in mid-March, is probably not going to happen because it's still too crazy out there. Yeah.
Well, hell, man, talk about Pine Box Dwellers a little bit. We totally skipped over that subject.
Okay.
And it's kind of an elephant in the room in this situation, talking about filling in boots and shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, Pine Box Dwellers. Let me actually start a little bit further back than that.
okay, absolutely.
I met
about
Sean and Jesse, who's the lead singer and the
Tell
bass
me what
player of
you're
Pine Box
seeing out
Dwellers.
there.
I met
He's out there.
them through
Blackberry smoke.
my dad and his
Out on
childhood friend
shows,
Billy Ray
you know.
Harry. He mentioned Doghill earlier. They all grew up in that same neighborhood. So, you know, from a little kid, I was always raised up around these people.
Something to eat.
So in about 2013, me and my first band, the other guys, we had pretty much disbanded, and I was just looking for an outlet, you know. And Sean said, you know, why don't you sit in with me for a couple of gigs? I said, sure, man, that sounds like fun. And I didn't think anything of, like, he's about to ask me to join the band. I didn't think anything of that. I just thought a couple weekends playing out with the guys, this is fun, this is it, you know. And then
You don't want chili or gravy, do you?
we naturally the next step was, I want you to join the band. So that happened, and let's see, that was about 2013, June 2013.
You kind of play it cool, but no, I gotta think about it, man. I'm still recovering from my other band, and
Yeah, no, I mean,
you're like, hell yeah.
funnily enough, though, there was a point in the band where I did quit. It was only for about a week, but I don't know what came over me. I guess I thought, like, man, I got other stuff I want to do, because back then I was like into acting and into this and that and the other. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, you know, but this is what I wanted to do, play with the band. And of course, eventually I came back, and there's a time I went off to college, came back from that.
A funny story to throw in here while you're on this subject. We were in a movie together.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know.
Hold on, pause real quick. What's y'all think?
I don't know. I was fixing to ask him what movie it was. We were just extras in it or something, but
I want to say
that was like a kidnapping more so than a casting.
it was weird. It was a cool place that we filmed it at. It was
You know, Stan Mullins, he's a metal worker, he's a granite worker in Athens. He does like incredible shit, like Egyptian monuments. He'll do Michelangelo's. It's like he has
Has a really cool yard. with
Yeah,
that-
yeah,
It's
we
like
walked
a
past
wedding
it.
venue.
Fell
so
in love with that
that's-
fence
so
around
cool.
there. I was like, actually, he took me to the park right next to
Yeah.
it, right? And I'm looking at that fence. I want to make a fence like that, you know,
It's
'cause
tight.
it's like
It's got the like
bricks
sporadic
and
shit. Like,
yeah, and
it's like,
it's bricks and wood and glass and even cinder block. I mean, it's all kind of materials.
One of my friends in Athens is going to hear this and like show Stan Mullins like, yeah, there's somebody on a damn podcast bragging on your damn
there
gate.
You go. Well, I was actually peeking through the gate, you know, to see what was behind. I want to see what was behind it, you know.
Hell, I'm nosy too.
Yeah, I mean, there was like statues and everything behind it, and I'm looking and looking and looking. Well, here he comes walking by. He goes, "Hi," and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was being nosy, but this is incredible. I could help." And he actually said, "Well, come on back sometime, and I'll take you on a tour." And I'm like, I still hadn't gotten to go back, but maybe
one of these days.
Yeah, if you go back to Athens, or maybe I'll just go visit all our friends in Athens and take a little cruise over there and see what's behind it. It's got a huge workshop back there.
There's so many photos online you can check out. He's got a website because
Really?
yeah, I'll put the link on my
Alright.
Facebook too. But he has like a wedding video out there. He's mostly on Instagram,
It's
but
so
he loves showing that
it's
yard. I would
awesome.
too.
What's his
Yeah.
handle?
Huh?
What's his handle?
I'll have to find it in a minute, but I'll put it up there with a brief description. Here, I'll find it really quick, honestly.
Yeah, I fell in love with that.
Yeah, what was that
Yeah,
movie?
that-
Do you know anything about that movie? Or
I
like,
What's trying to
don't,
get
which
you
is
on
unfortunate. I think I took a peek at the script at the end, and I'm pretty sure the working title
Hey,
was.
Russ,
Yeah.
did you want something to eat?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll take like a
All-star
cheese stick.
special, or you got something in mind?
I'll probably just do like a regular old cheeseburger and hash browns on the side or something.
All right, it's just his name is Stan_Mullins on Instagram. That's the wedding venue that we're talking about. But anyway,
Yeah, I took a peek at the script, and I believe the working title was called Elevator Music or Elevator Noise or something like that.
Yeah.
Really?
But
elevator noise. That sounds about right.
I
That
can't
sounds
think
familiar.
of his name, but this guy in Athens, hell of an actor. Darn it. He was in that movie with us, and he also does a lot of work with zombie farms up there. I'll think of it eventually. But yeah, that was a really fun little experience, and I had no idea that I would be seeing somebody from
Waycross.
knowing, yeah, somebody I knew from Waycross up there. And it's
Yeah.
like we just saw each other, and I was like, Matt,
Yeah.
Connor?
Because
What's
like I
up,
saw
man?
you, I was like, that kind of looks like Connor Griffin, and then closer I got to, I was like, that is Dan Connor
Yeah,
Griffin.
yeah. And you were wearing that brooch that I liked so much. A little, I think it had like a mockingjay or something
Oh
on it.
yeah,
or
it was a
something.
hummingbird.
Yeah, hummingbird.
I had my
Sorry.
golden
It's okay.
suit on. That was I forgot about that suit. I
Yeah,
lost
yeah.
so many good clothes, but hell with it. You know what? I don't even get mad anymore. I had to start fresh. But fuck it. Anyway, getting back to you know, you were saying. Well, I just threw that in because you said you had so many like you know you didn't know if you wanted to act, you didn't know what was going on. You moved out of town for a little bit.
Yeah, but since moving back from Athens, that was in 2018. Just been steadily keeping at it, and then we had about a couple gigs every weekend before the pandemic hit, and then of course y'all know that story. We're all in the same boat there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, I've been working, but I'm kind of glad I did though, because I don't want to have to pay back all that shit in taxes if they're going to do that or whatever. I mean, that $600 a week sounded pretty nice, but I don't want to owe that to
They're
nobody.
just going to send
Especially
us
nobody
over
like
to
that
salt
damn
mines,
government.
work it off. It'll be a couple of years.
We'll get a letter in the Venmo. Here's the official government. I mean, we're getting a letter in the mail saying here's the official U.S. government Venmo. Y'all can just get us back that way.
Oh, they wouldn't make it that easy. They'd stick like a 30% interest rate on our ass.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Who knows what's gonna happen?
People listening to this podcast are just going to constantly hear that ice clacking on the bottom of my glass.
Dude, they're already hearing dishes and people talking shit in the background. They're never
you
going to
got
be
like
okay.
a damn junior wedding in the back.
That's like a high school dance or something.
Yeah, it was like
They
a
called
prom
it
or something.
Yeah.
Not a prom. I asked.
I didn't know they were holding those in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, me either.
They'll do anything during a
Formal?
pandemic around.
Formal pandemic.
Yeah.
They got their fancy masks on and
Dance
shit.
your COVID off.
They're gonna
Dance,
come up
dance
with,
6 feet apart.
yeah, they're gonna come up with some sort of twerk that could
That
last
sounds
6
like a
feet.
school dance already.
Yeah.
Well, hell, guys, I appreciate y'all riding out here. Like, I felt like tonight would be a pretty cool night. I was kind of blown away from our first night. Like, I didn't really think we'd get a lot of footage and stuff like that, but Yeah, it's a real treat. When I saw y'all across the street, I was like, they probably won't want to mess with it. But Connor hit me back. I was like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
I
man.
saw
Anytime.
you in a video of Lindy Berg's at Lindy Berg's
Oh Lord.
kitchen.
Yeah.
One day. How do y'all know each other?
Her daughter's like a old friend of mine and stuff, and we were like dating at the time that
Oh,
she was posting me all the time. I guess she thought that like I lived with Sean or something. I don't know. I think she thought me and Sean were like best homeboys or something because she was always tagging me and shit and like sending it to him. I'm like, no, he's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck.
She's having a birthday party.
who?
Lindy Bird.
Oh yeah, August 7th.
Or no, an anniversary party, something.
That's a while away.
And Pine
You know-
is playing.
Yeah, Pine Boss is playing.
While we're in the Waffle House, I just feel that it's
Ain't it some shit?
it's appropriate to note Lindy Berg actually planted a bug in my dad's ear about a song.
In Sean's ear, actually.
In Sean's ear, yeah.
Sean got me in on it. Lindy and her husband Ed, they probably go out to clubs, club hopping. And at the end of the night, they'll frequent the
thank you.
Waffle House.
Y'all don't have to get me nothing.
I'll share.
He wants
seriously, I will.
cheeseburger with
Yeah.
hash browns.
Yeah, is that cool?
Bacon on it?
No, thank you. I'll take a water, please. Thank you.
Well, Lindy and her husband Ed would go clubbing and naturally wind up in a Waffle House,
Yeah.
like us.
Just
And their Waffle House of choice was the Waffle House on exit 29, I-95. And there was a waitress there who went by the name of Baby. And she came really close with Lindy and Ed. And
baby. I've heard that movie.
and
Yeah.
she told Sean this whole story and said that Baby was in
Thank you.
a bad relationship, an abusive relationship, and she wound up having to quit her job at Waffle House on exit 29, and nobody saw her for months. But then she resurfaced a few months later, and she was out of her abusive relationship and
Baby
working
don't last.
and working at the Waffle House on 341. And so Lindy said, Sean, I think it would be a great song for you to write. And it would be an homage to Baby and her perseverance and everything. So we didn't know Baby at all. And Sean came to me and said, help me write this song, Dave. So we got together one night over at our house and looked at the material that Lindy had given us and jumped right in. And so we got a song that's called The Ballad of Baby.
Yeah. And it's going to be on our album. We have yet to be named, right? Or are we the Swamptown Symposium? There we go.
Swamp Towns.
Coined by Sir Ian Dunlop out of Cornwall, England.
Nice.
He's one of the regular headliners at the Graham Parsons Guitar Pool. But that's
We got an album
treat,
that we're
yeah.
working on right now. We're recording it, Caution Light Media. It's songs that Sean and I have co-wrote through the years. And Connor's played on all the tracks. And the first song that we laid down 2 weeks ago was The Ballad of Baby.
yeah.
And it's pretty kick-ass.
Hell yeah.
Sounded cool from where we were sitting.
I'm excited to hear it, especially knowing this backstory.
Yeah.
And it's all about the Waffle House.
Yeah.
I've heard little
Like the
tidbits
anthem
about
of this
Baby.
place.
Oh, have
That's
you?
like the anthem of
So
this
you're
damn
familiar
podcast.
with it?
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but I didn't know the whole story. Now I just
Right.
hear her name mentioned,
really?
and then some Lindy laughing. So it's in context. That's funny. But that's all I got to say on that.
Well, thank y'all so much. We're going to let y'all eat.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And, what's your
Thank
upcoming
you.
dates?
Oh, let's see. As far as me and my dad, I'm not sure. I think Dad's got that on lock. But next Pine Box we'll be playing will be next Friday, the January 29th at Reed's Apothecary in Brunswick. And then that Saturday, the 30th, at Saltwater Fishery in Jefferson, Georgia. And special guest Scotty Nicholson will be sitting in. He's a badass.
Scotty is a badass.
He's a jack of all trades.
And where can they find you on social media?
Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Just type in the Pine Box Dwellers. Pine Box Dwellers are 3 words, by the way. Pine Box Dwellers. A lot of people mess it up and like to put one word, Pine Box, you know.
See, I would hyphenate it.
Oh, yeah.
We
We didn't think about
hyphenated
that.
this shit.
We didn't think about that.
The
But-
PBD.
That's just another
Yeah,
thing to
PBD.
engrave. Another thing to write on a road case, I guess.
All right.
And you can find our full schedule on pineboxdwellers.com.
Well, thank y'all so much.